Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Author Spotlight, where we take authors global and interview the greatest authors on the planet. I'm your host, Michael D. Butler. It's a Mother's Day, and we're honored to have our next guest here. She's got an earned PhD. Her name is Dr. Catherine Van Heerden. She's worked with clients you would know of, like Coca-Cola, companies like John Deere, companies like Heineken, Waterhouse Coopers, the South Africa Reserve Bank, and many others. She's been helping people, and she's been speaking all over the world for the last 2 decades. In fact, that's where I met Dr. Van Heerden. She was speaking in Dallas, Texas, but last year took her all over Europe, all over London, UK, into Holland. She's got a very exciting new book that's now available on Amazon called See the Change. And I'm going to be bringing Catherine on. So Catherine Van Heerden, welcome. We're so glad you're here today from Pretoria, South Africa. How are you?
Hi, wonderful to be here. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you for the invitation. It's a wonderful honor to be interviewed by you on your birthday. Very, very special. Thank you.
Well, I know you've been creating change in people's lives globally for a long time. You know, your degree in psychology and now your doctorate, you chose, instead of give therapy on the couch to individuals, you chose to work with corporate. Why is that? Why did you choose to work with corporate?
Well, with my journey with corporates, I have learned that people have such pressure around them. The whole concept of leadership and people having to do teamwork, the pressure of being fathers, being mothers, going to work every day, having to face many different challenges and so forth. I love the whole idea around strategy and getting people together in teams. I love it to just step into that space where people get together, having to make important decisions and connecting with one another. So I think if you would ask me what am I most passionate about, it would probably be to get people's eyes to shine, for them to be illuminated with the decisions that they make, to follow great leadership and to discover that leadership within themselves as well.
Well, I love, because your philosophies are so empowering. You know, if anyone could be a victim in life, you could. Growing up in a challenging environment in South Africa, just a few miles from Johannesburg. You're in Pretoria now, but
Yes.
you didn't have an easy childhood, and you put yourself through college. Tell us a little bit, how much did your background in your environment help give you the drive and passion to succeed? As a single mother of 2, you've got 2 successful, practically grown young men now. And looking back, what advice would you give yourself 20 years later? But how did you do that? Because a lot of people just give up and quit when they're in those kind of dire circumstances.
Yes, I have, from the time that I was little, I have decided that this was really a conscious decision that I've made. I remember as a 5, 6-year-old girl standing in front of a mirror, kind of instructing myself that I will create and craft my destiny. And maybe not in those words specifically, but I remember looking myself in the eye and saying to myself that, whatever your environment and whatever your reality is around you, it doesn't have to shape you, and it doesn't have to predict to you who you become or where you go to in your life. So having grown up in the environment that I did, and I had parents, but I was mostly in boarding school, and also didn't go directly to university after school. I didn't get the funding for that. So I started working, but I chose to focus inwardly and learned to listen to my own voice. Now, sometimes we listen to people's voices around us, people that give us feedback about who they think we are, and we listen to our environment. We listen to other people's stories, often to other people's fears. And so I have just decided that, this is not what I wanted. I wanted to create the ability to step out and to change people's lives. But I also realized that the thing that gives you most authority in life is if you have walked your path, and if you were faithful in your path, And that gives us weighting, that gives us the ability to speak truth into other people's lives. So if I look back into my journey, I wouldn't change anything. I appreciate everything that's happened to me and with me, within and including all of it. I think all of it were very valuable teachers, like Viktor Frankl speaks in his book about the search for meaning. I really believe that we walk our paths, and if we choose to teach or treat our paths as valuable teachers, then it can gift us with the ability to let it filter inside of us and then give it out to the world again, there where we influence the rest of our world.
Well, I want to dive into some of the content of the book, because you use the letter C to create massive shifts, transformational shifts in people's lives. Give us a little look at what's on the inside and why you wrote it, and what are some of the practical takeaways, because I know it's very late in South Africa right now, but back in February a year ago, when I took the 19-hour flight into Johannesburg and then the 30-minute drive up the highway to Pretoria, I was just blown away when you had 2,000 women show up on a Saturday morning at 7:30 for a book launch, for a book that you were a part of. You're a main contributor in a main magazine there. But tell us a little bit about what's inside the book.
Yes,
what are we
I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this book. I have created the content a while ago, and it was actually really, let's say, instigated by the quote of Mahatma Gandhi, where he said, "Be the change that you want to see in the world." Right? Okay, so I was thinking about that. I like to listen to other people's quotes or read their quotes and actually think about what it means to me, what's the truth about it and the reality around it. So because of that quote, I thought to myself, but you can't really be change if you can't see the change first. If you can't have insight into what does this change mean. Because all of us can attest to, in our journeys of life, we have to change. Sometimes we want to, and sometimes we have to. And it's a continuous journey. It's actually quite an exciting journey, but it can also be a very, very, very hard journey. I'm speaking to some people out there that know what I'm talking about. You know, those things that happen to you that you really didn't bargain for, the things you really didn't want. Sometimes throws us with a curveball that we didn't expect, and we kind of say to ourselves, this is not how I see my life playing out. This is not really what I wanted. And so I was thinking about this thing around what can we do and how can we make it happen that we see the change with clarity. So when I thought about that, I realized that there's actually quite a lot of things that we can do to help ourselves systematically to work through change. And I know there's wonderful models out there for change management that gives us a number of different pointers. But what I did was I used the letter C, and I thought about different C's that we can use to help us and guide us through this process of change management, whether it's a desired change or whether it's a forced or required change. So some of the concepts I talk about, for example, is firstly clarity of mind. I think a lot of people find it difficult to change because they don't have clarity. They don't exactly know what is out there, you know, what's the shifts that I have to make, for example, or what is my situation? And we know as well, when we are very emotional about certain things, if you think about this pandemic right now, that this world that we're all experiencing right now, we didn't expect this to happen. I mean, in the beginning,
did, right?
Yes. I mean, I was going to fly to London and also going to fly to Los Angeles to do this book launch. And on the day
you were speaking on our stage in Los Angeles, and we had to call that off, actually.
Yes. So on the day of my flight, I had to decide not to fly. It was a decision that I had to make like that, which was really not nice. It disturbed me so much inside of me. We didn't plan for this to happen. We were making our international plans and planning holidays and thinking about how great 2020 was going to be, and see where the whole world is at the moment. So in those moments, we have to actually get a little quiet, I think, and just get clarity of mind because of brain fog and because of, and if you're not familiar with the term of brain fog, I talk about it in the book, but you can of course also do your research about it. It just means that we get mystified. We don't really know, and we start to spiral into this space of nothingness or confusion and fear and anger about the things that we don't have control over. So I talk about clarity of mind, what it means, as almost the first step that you need if you want to go through proper change management. Michael, and then other concepts that I talk about is curiosity. And I speak about curiosity, how the proverb that says curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And in today's world, it's so fast changing and so amazing. You have to be curious. And so I talk about creative curiosity as a skill that we need to have too, because curiosity these days feeds the cat and it saves the cat. The days are over and it kills the cat. So I speak a little bit about curiosity. And then also calculated choices that we have to make. It's all about the ability to apply your rationale onto your situation, extracting pros and cons and understanding how to calculate the choices that you make. I was recently asked an interesting question by somebody. How do I know the choice that I make will be the right choice?
Uh-huh.
And then I think a lot of people ask that question. How do I know it's the right time? How do I should choose this and not that? And this is something that I firmly believe in, is you never really absolutely know, do you?
No, you really don't.
How do you know? How do you absolutely, definitely know whatever choice you've made that it's the right choice? So it's only really time that shows us what the value is of the choice that we have made. But what I often say to people when I speak with them is what we do to ourselves sometimes is unfair. We make a choice with information that we have at a given moment, but then as the future shows up, and let's say it's a year later, there's new information that's come to light, new things that's happened, but now we judge our choices in the future with past information, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
well, let me ask you about the book. Is it more geared for corporate? Because I know you speak a lot and coach a lot in corporate, or is it more for the individual reader, or a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both. It's for the individual reader that says, wait, I have always had a passion to start my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. I need to change career. I need to change my future. It is also for the person that says, I need to change my relationship. I want to change how I think about certain things even. I need to change country that I live in, or whatever decisions that's highly impacting your life. It's for that individual, but it's also for teams in corporates. It's for leaders. It's for executives. I believe it is because all of us are walking this path of change. Anyone that needs to make shifts from this state to that state.
Yes.
And to guide you through that journey in a very practical manner, helping you to reach clarity of mind, make calculated choices, be curious, and then also concepts like confidence, courage. Then there's concepts of conversations, the internal, external conversations, as well as how to it.
Hey, I got a question. A lot of people are chiming in on Facebook and YouTube here, and just go ahead and leave us a comment on where you're watching, guys. Leave us a comment. But one of the questions is, how can I keep from second guessing myself if I make a wrong decision? For CEOs, entrepreneurs, or startup companies, or people working from home. Do you see that a lot, where people will make a decision and then second guess it? What do you say there? Can you help that?
Yes, absolutely. The thing is, what we have to realize is fear is almost ever present, because we don't always know for sure. So the human response to that uncertainty is fearfulness. And to some degree, fear is a positive thing because it helps you to stay responsible. It can, if you see it as a positive thing, you can use it to fuel you to really do your homework, to do proper research, to seek out the right voices, to get a good coach or somebody that you can trust to be an advisor to you. So you can use fear in that way. But the moment that fear debilitates you, or it makes you doubt yourself or your self-worth, or make you break down your own esteem, that's where fear is not very, very useful.
See the Change is the name of the book. She's Dr. Catherine Van Heerden in South Africa. You can go to her website now. And I want people to go to your website and bookmark the website, because you've got a lot of powerful assessments, tools, and content here that you've done in real life with real companies like John Deere, yes, Waterhouse Coopers, the South Africa Stock Exchange, Coca-Cola. And you've been able to take teams and take companies to a whole nother level, from startup companies to the equivalent of Fortune 500 companies in the US that are in South Africa, companies like Heineken. What's one of the major, let me just say this too, while you're doing that, go ahead and go to Amazon, because right now you can get See the Change at a very special price. You can pre-buy the ebook now. It'll never be this price again. What's one of your favorite takeaways on See the Change in these chapters that all start with C to apply in the business life and in the corporate world when you see with management teams? What's your favorite?
What's my favorite? That is such a hard and unfair question. You know what I like about what I've done is I've made the book very personable. It's different in that way. I've used a lot of my own personal experiences, my own journey as example. Mm-hmm. So I've actually made myself quite vulnerable in that mm-hmm. book. And I'm telling bits of my own story and mm-hmm. my own challenges and where I needed to change perspective. So when I step into the presence of corporates and teams, I want to be as authentic as possible. I want to sense the reality and the truth of where they are at. And I really just want people to connect to their own greatness and mm-hmm. to get inspired with why they mm-hmm. are with that company in the first place and mm-hmm. honor people that they work with. So the purpose of the book, I think, is inviting people that whether they're in a corporate, whether they're in a team, whether they are an executive, whether they're an educator, whether they're a leader, whether they're an entrepreneur, whether they're a mother, whether they are, just enjoying life, whether they are a traveler and just exploring this beautiful planet. It's what I like about it. It invites them into a space of deep reflection and authenticity towards self, first of all. And it also invites a person to do a proper inventory around the different dimensions in their lives, and do a bit of a stock take. How am I really doing? And then identify and focus specifically, what is it that I have to focus on? Where do I need to close certain things in my life? What new identities of me do I need to develop so that they can go into the next and into the next and into the next and not get stuck? Because that's what happens, right? We get stuck.
This is not your first book, and you're doing about 10 books. And one segment of the author spotlight we like to feature on the Publisher podcast. Writing 10 books, what advice would you give a writer that's maybe stuck with content? How are you able to generate so much content in such a quick amount of time?
Silence, silence and focus. And I think also connect to the message that you want to share, and do a mind map. I love to do a mind map first. So I would just kind of unravel for myself, and that's what clarity is about, is unravel for yourself first. What is this book about? Because sometimes we can write about so many things, and you don't want to write about everything. We've got to be focused specifically on what is the key message here? And then what are the bits and snippets that I want to add into this book to complement this message? Plus, then how do I make sure that the reader is extracting value from it? I mean, there's many books and really fantastic, great books. I love reading a book that has a bit of a few things, like there's really good information, there's great stories, there's great examples, there's practical tools. This is what I've done in this book, is to combine a number of different elements into the book. And that's what I would advise for authors is, stop saying, I'm going to write that book one day. I'm talking to you. But
that's powerful. So you actually did.
Take action.
Yeah, you actually knocked it out powerfully. Now, what do you like? I know you speak all over the world, and when this pandemic's over, you're coming back to Los Angeles, you're coming to Dallas to speak. It looks like we're having the event in Johannesburg in September. I've invited you to come speak in Guadalajara, and I know you're getting invites to speak. What do you like to speak about most on stage, from a keynote or a workshop? What are some of your top topics you do?
I loved my talk that I did in Amsterdam. I was invited by a very prestigious company. Not sure that I'm allowed to say who they are, but I just love this company. It's such a wonderful, beautiful company. And they invited me to come and do their keynote speech. And I spoke about becoming a powerhouse. And I have identified a number of different elements that I believe make people really, really powerful. And I love that message too. So that's also definitely that will be soon, that will be out. I love speaking about human spirit. So the wellness inside of us, the wellness that we bring into the presence of other people. I totally and utterly believe that the condition of your inner world gets filtered through you into your outer world. So if you have wellness inside of you, then you are medicine to the world out there. My beautiful son, who's 26 years old, his name is Marcel. He asked me a beautiful question. He said, Mother, why do clients keep on inviting you back? And I said to him, because I'm medicine.
Wow, you are. That's powerful.
My spirit is medicine. And as long as there's people that are broken and that need advice or that need guidance, like I do sometimes too, but my spirit is medicine, and that's how I like to think of myself. I don't want to add to the problems of the world. I want to add to the solutions of the world. So that is how I see myself. I have clarity of mind in that regard. Whether I step on a stage, whether I work with a group of a small group of people, I like to bring that medicine quality of mine into that presence that will make people inhale it, think about it, and leave in a better state.
Well, you're really helping companies and entrepreneurs that have been stuck for years, and you're helping make rapid transformation quickly. The book is called See the Change. It's available now. Go grab it. You'll never get it for this price again. And it's in preliminary launch, pre-launch. Now, about the turn of the year, going into 2020, recently you got your doctorate, your PhD. So congratulations on that. And tell us a little bit about that. What's your doctorate in, and how will it serve you to touch more clients?
7 years ago, I said to myself, why not do a doctorate? Why not? So I enrolled. 2 years, didn't do much with it, kind of just allowed myself to cogitate on the dissertation that I proposed and what is it that I really wanted to do. And then I was very, very honored to be invited by a local magazine here in South Africa to help women lose weight. And so I started with this, and I started advising and guiding these women and working with them. But then I started seeing it as an opportunity. So from that platform, I also, with my coaching and guidance and speaking and training, facilitation in strategy and human effectiveness, I have really taken the time to contemplate and cogitate around how do you get people unstuck? I realized that actually there's a lot of people stuck, and I was one of them. I was stuck in a relationship that really didn't work for me and that hurt me terribly for many, many, many years. And once I've made a decision to get unstuck and change my reality, I got very fascinated and almost obsessed with asking this question: why is it that human beings remain on a path that they are desperately unhappy within themselves in this path?
Good question.
They know the end of that path is a downward place. You're going to fall yourself to death right there in front, yet you stay on that path. Why is it that we do that? Why don't we change? And I realized that as I was, a lot of people get stuck in their stories of the past, or in what they would like to see, or where they think they're comfortable.
What's one really quick in 60 seconds as we close out here? I want everybody to bookmark Catherine Van Heerden. Take a screenshot of the spelling there so you don't miss it. We're going to have to bring you back for a follow-up interview, because there's so much power here in see the change, clarity, curiosity. All of these C's are going to be very powerful. Grab the book on Amazon today. This will change your life. What is the one takeaway you want to leave in the final 45 seconds of this interview?
Well, I think that buying See the Change and investing in that program, and also, by the way, I have an online program on my website. You have that on the screen. So if you want to buy the book, that's great. But there's also a live program of 20 minutes each, that you get me on video. It's an online video program. Wow. So you can do that as well, which is wonderful. And I think that I would love to end with an inspirational word, if you don't mind, Michael.
Sure.
Can I read this? And this is in the book, See the Change. So I think, everything in life is about allowing things to happen, just opening yourself up for things to happen and saying yes to life. So I've written this part, and I love this part. If I can share it with our viewers.
We have about 15, 20 seconds.
Okay. Allow time to heal you. Allow people to love you. Allow pain to teach you. Allow air to penetrate you. Allow love to comfort you. Allow your voice to speak to you. Allow freedom to surround you. Allow change to introduce you. Allow wisdom to direct you. Allow life to grow old with you and truth to confront you. Allow confidence to elevate you. Allow courage to sustain you.
I love that. Catherine Van Heerden, See the Change. Thank you so much for being up late on this Mother's Day in South Africa. I know your message is going around the world, and we're so honored to be publishing all 10 of your books and putting you on the stages of the world. So thank you very much. Those of you that are going to stick around, because we've got Bella Cruz coming up right here in just about 2 minutes. Bella Cruz, you're going to love her story and what she's going to share with you on this Mother's Day. Catherine Van Heerden, thank you so much. You're a huge, huge help to many business owners and businesses. Thank you so much for being on the Spotlight, where we feature the world's greatest authors.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.